Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the final show of this week. And quite frankly, Mr. Boomstick is effing exhausted. 5 shows, 4 days. And you know what? Honestly, I've been having a lot of fun. Yesterday's special edition of of Breakfast with Boom, because Friday I was going to see Multiverse of Madness with my brother, was just phenomenal. So many laughs. I mean, just like
Nice.
towards the end, we got a little messy, we got a little silly. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But here we are here today, ladies and gentlemen, on the newest episode of X Vlog Live, ladies and gentlemen, and it is the new one-on-one show that seems to have people are enjoying it. The fans are enjoying it, which is fantastic. I love doing the sit downs with the one-on-ones. We get a chance to sit here for 60, 70 minutes, get 2 or 3 topics in. You get a bunch of gameplay. Today, you're going to get some Halo Lone Wolves, which I've been playing. I'm just about to hit level 35 on my battle pass, which is great. Because, listen, I did like everyone. I got the first 25. I paid for it. I don't care because I don't mind. I got the premium battle pass for my points. I already had. And then, like most battle passes, I dropped $20 day one, because that's just I enjoy doing it. I enjoy getting some of the skins and stuff. But enough of that shenanigans. Before we get into what we're going to be talking about, Mr. Badbit, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
What is up? What is up? I took a early lunch so that I could be here to talk games with you, man.
Brother, I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, man, he's doing the big man job right now, and he took his lunch break early to be here, and we're going to entertain you for the next 70 minutes, folks. We got a couple of big ones to get into. We're going to briefly talk about our experiences with 343's newest Season 2. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I am really enjoying myself to the point like I just killed myself so much. So I jumped off the edge of madness. I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to say maybe 30 games, 35 games so far. I played 21 this morning and only lost 3 out of the 21. And I'm doing randos. I'm just doing quick play because it's I like that. I like oddball. I like King of the Hill. I like all the silliness of it, because if you want to see complete madness, play King of the Hill. I mean, it is a grenade tossing fest. It's so much fun because there's so much going on. Listen, Joe, we're gonna get into a couple of things. First of all, we got some breaking news to get into, and Joe brought that to my attention because I was busy playing Halo. I didn't catch it. Goeff Kieghley has made the news once again, and obviously, listen, whether you like him, whether you hate him, whether you're lukewarm or you just love the guy, he is, and probably for the remainder of his existence within the industry, have been an integral part of taking gaming to another level when you start talking about putting it in front of the eyes of people that normally don't look. And I think he is incredibly important to the industry. I understand. Listen, I'm not a boob, folks. I'm a grown man. I'm 51 years old. This is a business. And he is a businessman, and he is in it to make money. But at the same time, his love of gaming has never wavered. As a matter of fact, I would dare say that Goeff Kieghley's ambition to put on these big mega shows, to put E3 on his back, and take up what's no longer a thing. E3 is gone, right? E3 may not come back, and the last couple of summer game fests and haven't been as good as they probably should have been. But I think that he has a new vigor to what he wants to deliver, because he understands that all the world will be watching his show, and I'm looking forward to it. And let's break down the press release, Joe. He tweeted moments ago, we have a date. Don't miss hashtag Summer Game Fest, Summer Game Fest, streaming live on Thursday, June 9th, which would be 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and of course, 6 p.m. Ground Mountain Time. And he says, I am hosting a live cross-industry showcase, game announcements, reveals, and of course, plus Day of the Devs Lots of events coming in June. Keep checking summergamesfest.com for more information. Joe, let's talk about it, brother. I mean, every year, I think that even if you don't like how he wears his love for Sony on his shoulder, on his patch, on his, I don't care one way or another. I think everyone has their own likes. I love Xbox more. You like Sony more, but we still play on the opposite end of the spectrum's console. No big deal. His end of the year show has been a staple for 2 decades. And it continues to get better. Last year's was absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to say this, though, Joe. The 2020 one, where obviously COVID had just sprung into action, ruining the world as we know it, was done in a way where he proved that an all-digital event can be done if you put the bucks behind it. And he has continued to build on that success. And obviously, the Kiegleys, as the kids call them, will be coming back this December. But we're going to get this Summer Game Fest first. Yeah. We don't know how long it is. We're thinking maybe 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. He's going to have a bunch of events throughout June. We do know that. What are you expecting from the big show? Because this is it. This is his showcase.
Yeah. So it's interesting because right off the top, I'm assuming there may be still that one in August, and I'm hoping that maybe he can have one in June, one in August, and kind of separate the times a bit, right? Break those shows essentially in half, because I feel like the one critique everybody has with any of these shows is they're great. There's a lot of awesome games there, but it's too long. And you kind of lose people after that 90-minute mark. People start tuning out. There's too many commercials or too many things that feel like ads, which is ironic because these showcases are just like, when you think of big picture, they're like 90-minute ads. So, to me, I think not 90 minutes is truly key for any of these showcases as well. Like anything more than that, I'm getting tired. And I know some people are like, no, you give me 3 hours of back-to-back must-play games and I'm there. But for me, I'm out after 90 minutes. I need to take a nap. My brain starts turning off,
I love it. Not the brain turns off. I love it. That's great.
What about you, man? What do you think like the link should be?
It's funny, the Xbox Factor podcast, DM that you were a part of, because obviously you were part of that show for many, many years. It was brought to, someone had put out there, Aaron Greenberg, someone said that the show was going to be 90 minutes, and Aaron Greenberg did a rebuttal and said, listen, normally our shows are about 90 minutes. We haven't put an official timestamp on it, so just stay tuned. And most people, Pong Soul, Boxenberger, Mav, everyone seems to think that the 90 minutes is kind of just like right there. For me, I'm greedy. I'm not going to say a 3-hour show. I would like a 2-hour show. And I say that only because we anticipate at least 20 minutes being dedicated to Starfield, unless... Now,
you think 20 minutes? Ooh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I you know what I think could potentially happen. I think we could get a gameplay trailer, which should be expected. Todd Howard's going to walk out, or in some cases, God Howard is going to walk out, and he's going to do his thing. But I think it's possible, and we don't know because they haven't announced yet. Paris Lilly, who's a good friend of the community, great contributor. On his time, both working with Kind of Funny Games and what he's done with Xbox so far, as well as Gamertag Radio, he pulled it off, man. He did such an amazing job last year, and I think it could be possible that after their Sunday event that week, which is normally the E3 week, we could get a couple of shows. A couple of 30-minute, 45-minute shows where he hosts something. Maybe Larry Herb hosts something.
Kind of like a Treehouse Live.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. I would actually, here's the thing. Because I know Xbox wants to do its own thing. And I get it. I totally get it. But at the same exact time, I do feel like there's a bits of the formula in where they could take from both like state of plays and Nintendo Directs that they could apply here. Cause like, you know, no disrespect to Paris, but I want little to no hosts. Like I want just, and I think this is what so many people want, is just like, show me 3 games, cut to a host to talk about a little something right here. Show me 3 games, cut to the host so they can have a little something there.
Well, yeah, again, that's
games,
Nintendo has made that a staple, and it works. You know, like guy comes up and he goes, and you watch 3 trailers.
And they have that thing where they'll just be like with Nintendo, they'll be like, and there's a direct after the show. So like you don't need to spend, to me, I know everybody's excited for Starfield. I saw the pictures too. Miles Dampierre is trying his hardest to get me excited for this game, and it's working. We all want to see it because we've heard so much about it, but I don't want the show to be 20 minutes just of Starfield. I would like, you know, show me a good 10 minutes of it, and then give me another 10 off screen so that the people that are truly dedicated to Starfield have a place to kind of bond, talk to each other, and then at the same exact time, even give feedback to the devs because they're watching those streams. You know, all the cuss words y'all are saying in chat, the devs are reading. So have a dedicated place for that, and to have that hype build, and then its own playlist on YouTube is the way I'm thinking of it. So that's what I would want to see, is really Xbox, show me the goods, show me the highlight reel. And then if it's something really big, let's just say Redfall or Starfield that we still think are coming out this year, right? Then go, hey, after this, there's a stream that you could watch for Redfall.
4K footage has been uploaded. It's ready to rock and roll. Boom,
exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Give it its own spotlight. That I think that would be a great place to start if you're Xbox.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And listen, the show is going to be the show. We expect that Sony is going to have their show at some point. We have no information. We expect Nintendo is going to have a Treehouse event. One of the interesting things that we don't know what either of those publishers are going to do. But you know, just rewinding it back to Goeff Kieghley stuff. I am looking forward to his show. I think it's good. I think one thing that he does do very well is he pivots to critical, acclaim, of course, as well as criticism. And I know that he's heard the cries about, his things were kind of messy. They were a little over the place. They're hard to find. How do I watch this, Jeff? How do I do this? And he obviously, he's going to take that criticism. He's going to build on it. And I would imagine that we are potentially going to have a show as tight as what we get with the Kiegleys each and every December. And that's the Game Awards, of course. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I mean, listen, it's not a traditional E3, but who cares, right? All you care about is if you get a chance to see new games, and it's going to be great. And I can't wait to see what everyone's putting out there for obviously this year, but more importantly, next year. And we're going to get into the next year conversation relatively soon, because Microsoft finds themselves in a position that we have all been waiting for quite some time. And that's for their big first party bangers, as the kids say, to release. Before we get to that, I want to shout out a couple of people because some super chats have come in. And the first one that came yesterday that I do remember reading is from Sith Lord. He actually dropped a $2 super chat even before the show started to turn around and say, "Happy May the 4th be with you." And indeed, brother, that's right. Did read that. I actually, because he DM'd me and said he asked me if I got it, and yes, I do. I went back and looked, but Gamers Play HUD Zero, friend of the program, he drops very generous $10 super chat to open up the day. And he says, Compulsion Games and In Exile are the dark horses of XGS family right now. What do they have cooking? Might be the ones to look out for on the Xbox Bethesda showcase next month. Hashtag Game On GT HUD Zero. Well, listen, brother, one of the things that I continue to go back to is when Papa Phil speaks, he doesn't talk out the side of his neck. There's always a point that he's making that you must pay attention to. And about a year ago, maybe even a little bit longer at this point, Joe, he was interviewed. And he was asked specifically, I don't remember who did the interview, but they asked him specifically if there's one game, if you could pick one game, Phil, that the public hasn't seen yet, that you're most excited for, that you yourself are most excited for, what would that be? And he specifically said to the interviewer, "Can I pick two?" And the interviewer said, "Yeah, sure, go crazy, pick two." And he says, "Well," he goes, "the easy one is going to be Starfield, right? Obviously, he knows he's been seeing it, he's been playing it. Phil is Phil." But he said before he even added the obvious one, he went on to say that what Compulsion Games is working on has him most excited. Now we've heard rumors, right, that it's set in a fantasy type of environment. It's like a BioShock meets an Uncharted. It's supposed to be third person, over the shoulder. We've never seen anything. I haven't even seen the screenshot leak out, so I have no idea what it even looks like.
Right.
I'm excited for that because we happy few, even though a lot of people didn't finish it, I didn't finish it because I thought it was going to be more like BioShock, and I wound up falling off a little bit. I didn't complete it. But that team, like Gamers Play HUD Zero says, is a dark horse. I don't necessarily think that In Exile's a dark horse because their history precedes them. But the dark horse that he's referring to may be that AAA open world game that we're hearing. So again, we don't know. Joe, what are your thoughts on what Gamers Play had to say?
I like this because it highlights to me the most exciting acquisitions Microsoft ever made were the ones with the lowest price tag. Like, to me, the most, like, Activision and Blizzard is exciting because I get to play my Blizzard games on PC like the good Lord intended to. All right. When they really started going downhill is when they started porting everything to console. You're like, oh, this is going to be great. And you're like, and that's great and all. But I love how Microsoft has picked up these studios that were kind of like, going game to game, contract by contract, but are incredibly talented. Right. And all they needed was the safety net of being in a parent company that gets it. And seeing In Exile is exciting because they are a studio that is incredibly talented, but just never had the financial backing that they have now. So it's really cool. It kind of reminds me of like when you take a look at Insomniac. This is one studio that Sony bought, and they're really just milking the crap out of. They don't miss.
They're doing what I would call the heavy lifting for Sony right now, and to great success. Oh, by the way.
Absolutely. And to see that hopefully translate over to like In Exile and the games that they're making, Ninja Theory, the games that they're making, I think probably my favorite studio that they've bought, Obsidian, whatever all the things they're making, like these studios are going to be working on, obviously with like Obsidian, they're not just working on one game. They're really going to crank out some impressive titles. So I'm with you. I think the dark horse for me is In Exile just simply because we don't hear much from them. Yeah. They seem like they got their head down. They're working on stuff. I want to see what stuff that is.
Yeah. You know what? If I were to pick one studio that I would equate to Insomniac Games, who is just doing the God's work, the gaming God's work, right? We know that they're working on Spider-Man, Wolverine, supposedly a Resistance Fall of Man reboot. My heart, please don't break my heart. Do it. I think Obsidian would be the studio that you can compare almost one-to-one because of what they're doing. Obviously you have Grounded and you have, whatever else that they're working on outside of the Outer Worlds 2. We're hearing that they're kind of they might be doing some sort of a collaboration to bring Fallout New Vegas to fruition. Apparently, they're working on something else, and even one of the heads of the studios has a smaller game with a smaller team that he's excited and nervous to show. It's there's a lot going on for them, and I'm very excited. I honestly cannot wait to see what this compulsion thing is, because we've been hearing about it and we've heard about it, but then we've heard nothing about it. And I'm super stoked.
Compulsion has the most to, what can I say? How can I say this? They have like the most to prove.
Yeah.
They're a relatively new studio. Or not really relatively. They are a new studio. We Happy Few didn't set the world on fire. Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be more like a BioShock, and it wasn't. So hopefully, whatever Phil's seen, hopefully it is impressive enough that it wins people over. That this is we see the promise of that studio. Because you're right. I think monetarily they didn't have the backing,
brother. They were an indie studio that were figuring out how to pay the bills and also eat.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So now see, again, this is where the consolidation thing comes into effect, where you're seeing Sony, you're even seeing Nintendo. They made an acquisition of a smaller studio.
And land, the best type of acquisition.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's what but then again, they've been working with them for 100 years, right? So it makes perfect sense. But the acquisition thing isn't to try and choke out each other. The acquisition, the consolidation of the industry isn't. I mean, it's a business, right? We talked about that at the open. Folks, this is a business. Everyone's got to make money. I hear you, but at the same time, games are becoming so expensive to make outside of the games. Let's talk real life for a second. Gas is $6, cream cheese is $8, bread is $5. These are things that used to be half that price, and they're not that half price anymore. Mm-hmm. Everything costs more. So when you compound everyday actual living that you're not making a game, it's going to be harder for the smaller teams and developers not to want to take or drink the Kool-Aid, as they say. And I think it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking for sure, because you never want to see one entity get too big, right? You never want to see that. But I think we're in for an interesting ride nonetheless. I'm looking forward to Kieghley's show. Just to give everyone the heads up, if you're asking, I'm going to answer. I will be covering that live. I don't know how long it is. I don't know. Again, we'll find out exactly, the length. If it's a 90-minute show, I will cover it live. If it's a heavy duty show, I'll probably cover it that evening. I'll figure out if I put a panel together and we'll talk about what was shown. But needless to say, we got a couple of weeks until that happens, and I will keep everyone up to date, but I will be covering it all, so don't worry about that. Let me just catch up with some of the super chats. Drawn TJ, generous friend of the program, he says, "Good morning, guys." So dropping a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, brother, and welcome. Welcome. We also have Sith Lord says, "Happy Revenge of the 5th." I like that, brother. Yeah,
that's right.
Drops a $2 super chat. Good. And did you see, Joe, that Obi-Wan trailer? Oof, chef's kiss already, brother. I mean, they have the fifth brother, they have the third sister in this.
Dude,
thing. What is happening?
Real talk, I was in a meeting and I was sharing my screen. I literally, boss is right there. I literally checked Twitter to see the Kenobi trailer. No shame. I'm like, I know I should be doing work, but this is important to me. And they're like,
this is life, okay? listen, Mr. Warbucks, it's life. Take it easy.
This is the Kenobi show. You need to realize this means something.
I love it. I love how the nerds have taken over the planet. This is a wonderful thing.
And like it's not a shame. Like I'm not like, what are you gonna do? Fire me because I want to watch Kenobi? You know what I mean? Like this is important. I have my rights.
Absolutely. Listen, it's look. I said this yesterday. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Star Wars is without Filoni, Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau, Star Wars is in deep trouble. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, God bless Filoni.
Since they and now Kevin Feige, obviously, he's doing his own Star Wars. Papa Feige, right? We know what he's again,
Yeah.
no offense against anyone else, but the reality is that these guys
They get
doing some things. They absolutely get it.
They get it.
And Dave Filoni trained by the master.
Yep.
Known as, of course, George Lucas.
Yeah.
So we're very excited for that. But Keo Walker drops a very generous $5 super chat and says Fortnite is back on iOS.
I was gonna tell you.
Xbox Cloud Gaming. Interesting. I did not know that. I mean, look, I think what they do over there is amazing. I wish I could love Fortnite as much as the kids do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, did
you try no building? I
did not try no building.
Building.
The no build. I saw it when it was not. I think that's cool. I think a lot of people have been asking for that. So I may jump back into it. I know they have a whole big Marvel thing going on. Actually, a Star Wars thing. They have lightsabers are back and blasters are back.
I'll share you a tweet that I'm gonna craft up because it is the best victory royale I've ever gotten. We're in a shotgun fight, and like I ran out of bullets. This guy's about to kill me, and I whip out a lightsaber and I kill him. It's the coolest thing I've ever done.
That is absolutely cool. Look, let's get into what's on your screen.
Okay.
Halo Infinite came out last year in two phases. Obviously, multiplayer came out in November. Single player came out in December. Both, in my opinion, again, folks, this is just my opinion, mastercraft in every level. The single player, I spent probably close to 100 hours. I've done almost everything. I'm with the logs, which are a real pain in the rear to find. I am at 87%. I want to sew that up. And the multiplayer, I got halfway through the battle pass and I kind of fell off a cliff, and I can blame Elden Ring for that. 187 hours later. Well, there you go.
Fair.
So I got to level 52 in the battle pass. I will, once I'm done with this one, go back, which you can do, which is awesome. I love that. I love that you can switch the battle pass and go back and continue so as I can have a flaming head and the rest of my body. I like that. So obviously, here we are, 343. Once again, a little bit of controversy up into the launch. A lot of people walked away. A little disappointed because of what they were giving. This was going to be another 6-month battle pass instead of 3, which a lot of people are used to. And that you see in Apex, that you see in Warzone, that you see, of course, in the granddaddy Fortnite. I'm okay with that because it's going to probably take me that long because I don't stay on just multiplayer. I'm going to be playing something else, I'm sure. So I don't mind. And I won't be penalized not finishing the battle pass because I can always go back and do so. But I am telling you right now, folks, if you stepped away from Halo Infinite multiplayer, I implore you to go back and try it because the new maps are fantastic. The gameplay, and I'm going to say something that may, Cognito, if you're listening, and I know that you might be, cover your ears, brother, because you're gonna turn red. I think, Joe,
what's that?
They 343 Industries has outdueled Bungie in the shooting mechanics. I think Halo Infinite shooting is the sign for better than Bungie's Destiny. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Oh boy, I don't know. I
mean, again, it's an opinion, folks.
It's an opinion. It's definitely one that exists. I will agree. I think so. On that statement, I think the shooting in Infinite is chef's kiss.
Yes.
I think it's better in terms of like PvP. Sure, I'll give you that because Destiny's PvP used to be great. It's whack. I don't like it. As I use term the kids use it. It's whack. But in terms of like general like PvE shooting, man, there's just something about Destiny. There's just something about it.
You might be onto something
good.
because the PvE in Destiny is pretty damn good. Like it is really spot on. Like I can't believe I'm an old man, folks. I'm 51. I don't have the same skills as I did when I was a kid. And you know what? That's the difference with Halo.
Yeah.
I told you, folks, I played 21 games this morning and I only lost 3, and I was playing with randos. And again, listen, I'm not leading the pack with 17 kills. I did have 17 kills one match, but I get my double digits. I'm holding my own. But I you might be onto something, because the when you talk about multiplayer, I think hands down, Halo takes the cake for that, for me anyway. The PvE, the single player aspect of it, you might be on something, because the Destiny shooting is really good for sure. But listen, there is okay. I do have one complaint. I have a complaint, ladies and gentlemen.
Talk about it.
And I'm not writing an email because it's very minuscule.
Okay.
When you start the new season,
it
asks you if you want to see this new cinematic.
Yeah.
And I watched it. And my God, it's so good. My God, Joe, it is just so good that it tells this story. And I'm not going to ruin it for you. I'm not going to tell you what the story is. Go watch it. And it's about, what is it? Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes. It's not, it's on the level of what you would expect a Halo trailer to, like one of the movies to have, one of the CG movies to have. And as soon as it finished, I said, my God, when can I play this in single player? When can I play this right now? Because I have to know how we got here, what happens next, and do I have any control? And that's the one thing that I am hoping comes to fruition from a rumor about 2.5 years ago, folks. You remember that big Reddit leak where supposedly, again, this is complete, this is take it with a grain of salt, that there were going to be little 3 to 4 hour nuggets of story for other characters. Even some of the bad guys, even some of the banished, which would be, I heard that Atriox was going to be a playable character at some point for you to see his story. Locke is a must. We got to know what happened to Locke. We got to know what happened to Blue Team, Team Osiris. These are stories that not only are we owed as fans, these characters deserve a story arc that explains to us what happened. Now, I don't know how long that's going to take to deliver it. I know right now it's all hands on deck with multiplayer, and obviously as free to play, that's what you got to do. At the same time, I hope that there is a team that is working on the single player. Like I said, I really, really loved Halo Infinite's single player. One of the things that I missed were the biomes. It was just what it was. There was no forest. There was no sand. There was no. My favorite part in any gaming, because I'm a winter baby, is there was no snow. You know what I'm saying? No real impactful, snow blowing, hurting your vision, and you run into a camp of banished. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch this little movie?
Excuse me. No, I did not. They never offered me to watch the cinematic.
Oh,
everybody was talking about the cinematic. I'm like, where do I find it? Where do I go? And like I talked about earlier, I'm like, is it like a console thing? Because right now I'm on PC because my Xbox is in the shop for another week. Like, what's up? Let me in.
I honestly don't know, but as soon as I started the season, it asked me if I wanted to move, and I don't just press the button to move on. I have to see everything.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to check it out, if you can't see it on PC, which would be a little weird, go to YouTube, put it up. I like I said, it didn't disappoint me. It excited me. It really excited me onto what could potentially be a thing moving forward. I can't wait to see what they do with the single player campaign. It's going to be really good.
I wonder what we'll see from them at E3.
That's a good point, dude. I didn't think about that.
You have to assume we're going to see a little bit more multiplayer stuff, probably co-op and Forge in there, and then like maybe do the little battle royale thing. Actually commit to it. It's good. It's going to help the player base. Have people find Halo. Go for it. I'm all for it. I think Last Spartan Standing is a great idea and a great premise to
I haven't
build
tried
off
that
of.
yet. Everyone's keep telling me, Boom, you got to try it. It's very competitive.
It's pretty good.
I'm gonna get
pretty
killed.
good.
I know I'm gonna die like right out of the gate. I know it's just not my bag. That's why I don't. That's why I don't play. The big open thing. But I will say this: Certain Affinity, who has been basically confirmed to be doing a battle royale of sorts. Their version, their take on has me excited because it's not going to be a Fortnite battle royale. It's not going to be a Warzone battle royale. It's going to be a Certain Affinity, and we know anything they touch is special, right? I mean, come on, they've been with this franchise
since the inception.
I want to say the inception. I was going to say Halo 2, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Yeah. I don't know if they were there for Halo 1.
I believe they're ex-Bungie folks that have been working on it since the inception, and then created their own company to just start helping build maps and stuff. So cool. I'm definitely, I'm excited to see what they have to offer, and hopefully there's like an absorption. They're not just like, hey, you guys are great, come join us. Be a part of this. Be a part of the family. It's been enough. We've been dating for too long.
You know what? It's what I'm hoping it does is take some pressure off of 343, so they can continue to build the maps for Infinite and that worry. Because again, we they were a little bullish up in the beginning, Joe, about doing a battle royale. Remember the whole there's no BR unless it's a battle rifle thing, and And maybe they feel kind of way about it, and that's okay. It's okay. Listen, if you guys don't want to do that, it's no problem. I think that's where Certain Affinity comes in, and they do their thing. And then you have Certain Affinity doing the battle royale. You have 343 Industries and their multiplayer team, which is extremely talented, doing multiplayer. And again, folks, if you stepped away, please go back to it. The new Big Team Battle Map is freaking dope. It's so big. Oh my God, it's awesome. And then they're gonna have the team working on the single player. I don't want to wait 2 years, Joe, for a continuation of what happened at the end of Infinite. I don't want to do that. I think it better suits a 10-year plan as it's been projected, that you give us little tidbits every 3 or 4 months. Every 6 months we get a new 4 to 6 hour campaign with a different character. And then, and then once that's been doled out, then you give us the big one, the big 20-hour campaign in 2 years to follow up Infinite. Tell us what happened with with the new AI and Master Chief. I don't want to ruin it for anybody because some people still haven't beaten it yet, but I'm very, very satisfied. If you were on the fence, if you walked away, like I see some people like, yeah, Boom, I played it, but I was a little bored with the maps. I say give it another shot, man. I mean, some of the new maps are great. I like I said, it's
weird because I feel like there's so much. I don't know. Like Halo's weird, man, because like let's all gather around here. This season, I feel like, is everything that we've wanted, but at the same exact time, it's not enough of the things that we want. Like they've done, like it's a genuine improvement. It's not like it's a small, skip. This is a leap improvement.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of hardcore Halo folks going, yeah, but there's not enough here to last 6 months.
Yeah.
And
3 months, I think yes. 6 months, I'm not certain.
To see things still pushed back as well, it's like, to me, it's like, your parent company's $1 trillion company. You're the flagship brand.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Like, there is a part of me that thinks that genuinely.
Yeah.
And
you're right to think that. 100%.
Yeah. And to me, it is frustrating seeing people that go, there is something really good here. We're just afraid it won't last because of how prolonged it is. You're right. Like 2 maps ain't enough. The progression's definitely, you could feel like it's changed for the better, but what it doesn't have is that Fortnite or that Apex, we can change something at a flip of a coin, or add something in, or even just take something away or whatever, or substitute something, open the vault of abilities and weapons that this game doesn't have. And I don't think there, to me, is an excuse for it. Because I know like our buddy Ains has stated like, yeah, but like Fortnite had those problems, Apex had those problems through a launch, and that's rightfully so. But this is not the same market that Apex or Fortnite have walked into, where it's not a lot of competition. This, Battle Royale games as service is now more competitive than it's ever been. You have to be off the gate ready. And I just don't think that they were. And I think that has hurt Halo to a certain extent. Yeah. I do. And at the same exact time, understanding the faults, I'm not saying that this game is like dead in the water. No way on earth. It's just going to have a slower launch than expected, and probably have a bit of a rebooted launch once they get everything in order of like, here's everything, here's Forge, here's the whole kit and caboodle, 3 months long, all this. Once they get the engine revving, everything's golden. It's been a cold start right now for them. So I understand the criticisms. I definitely do. I don't think it's like, I think it's hurt them for sure. I don't think it's killed them by any means, like some people are trying to make it out to be.
I absolutely agree. I definitely think you're onto something for sure.
Also, you hit that guy.
Yes, I
did.
Hit
them.
Yeah, I hit him. He should have died. He's a prick, but it's okay. I missed a double kill by a hair. Real quick, Suicide King says, watching this background, now I want to play Halo. Damn you, Boom.
It's good.
That's
the whole
point. Listen, Joe, let me catch him some of the super chats. Sir X-Men drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, Disney is doing its thing without raising prices. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely Netflix. They're not doing a Netflix, that's for sure, because Netflix raised their prices again. And if it wasn't for the Korean TV dramas that Mrs. Boom and I are absolutely infatuated with, I can tell them to suck it. But
the subscription wars is going to be a very interesting watch, because I was saying the other day to my brother, I'm like, I think Netflix's problem is they have too much content and they're not doing a good job curating that content. Where like Disney, you could argue, doesn't have a lot of content, but curates it so well that it's like an event. Like they have the IP that you care about, or that, the franchises you care about, and they'll put them out, once every 2 months, and people will be glued to their screens about it.
Yeah. Listen, it's going. Pricing is going to be at the center of all this. Like everyone keeps asking, people are just expecting Microsoft to make an announcement for Game Pass to go up.
That's not soon.
I don't. I think they're willing to take the loss up front, because they're building kind of like Disney. I think once we get like I said, once Ubisoft Plus gets in there, I think that we haven't heard much, because remember Ubi was like, no, that's going to be a separate service, folks, not included. I think that there might be working with them to make it included, because it would be a big deal. And look, here's the thing. I'm not saying that I wanted to raise. I quite enjoy paying my $15 a month. But if you were to tell me it went up to $17, went up $2, I'm not going to cry about that, because what we're getting is just so overloaded. I mean, it's crazy how much content we're getting.
I don't think it's going up in price anytime soon. There has to be an understanding, I think, between us as gamers and the company at large going, listen, obviously, and they've even stated, like, this is a growth. The price that they have right now is shockingly low, because they want so many people in it as they can.
Yep.
And then once they hit that certain number, and we don't know the certain number, it will go up.
Yep.
But to how much? Who knows? And I would say just... Listen, I would say this, no matter what, it'll go up in price at some point.
Yeah.
It's just important for us as consumers to let them know when it's too much. Because you're right. I don't care if I have to pay another $5, let's just say. I'm just throwing it out. Yeah, because the content's so good.
Yeah.
But until there comes a time that they press you a little bit too hard, that's when you speak up. But if like they charge you like let's just say, God forbid, it goes up by if it goes up by $3 in June, let's just say, which no, that's fine, because again, all the content that you're getting, I think is reasonable for that price. So it's an irrational fear. I understand why you have it, because I too have irrational fears. I'm scared of heights. I don't go near them. I don't as low to the ground as I can. I get it, but it's gonna be fine. You guys are gonna be great. You're gonna play Starfield for $15. It's gonna be awesome.
And what's crazy, and I say this, what's amazing with how they've been able to build, and I think it's closer to 30 million. I don't care what anyone says.
Sure.
That they haven't had a steady stream of first party stuff. Like that's what's interesting. I mean, again, Halo's here. Take away Flight Sim is there. Psychonauts is there. Forza is there. We have a crazy good year in 2021, but they still continue to grow. We saw all the numbers. The numbers are all in the green, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, Joe, this is going to be a conversation that it's almost going to be, if you are not in any of these services, you will be missing out. That's the reality. And of course, with money being as difficult as it is for some, I mean, listen, like I said, I talk about this all the time. I'm a retired dude, folks. I used to do overtime for games. I can't do that anymore because I'm retired. So I have to be very smart with my money. On top of that, Mrs. Boom and I are trying to save for a place. And with the interest rates gone up, and it's kind of put a little bit of a drag to what we wanted to do, but it is what it is. So Game Pass for me personally is a huge help, because I get a chance to play for a significantly low price, and I can still always be in the conversation. Even if I'm not buying the game's brand new, and that to me is awesome.
I get that, and I'm not like the statistic to that Microsoft would be like, hey yo, like I saw Gene Parker actually said it perfectly. Yeah. Like, I'm not the statistic that Microsoft would brag about, because I usually just test indie games on it, and if I like it, then I go buy it on PlayStation. Like, that's how I use Game Pass. But like, even I will tell you, as someone that doesn't use it as much as some of you would like, it's a tremendous service. It's tremendous. It's amazing.
Well, listen, before we move on to the big topic, and that's, of course, Xbox first party in 2023, which looks to be one of their biggest years in the company's existence. Let me catch up with some of the super chats. Been quite a few of them. Kay Asante, I think you know that guy. Great friend.
He's in the Halo show.
Yes, he is. Captain Keys.
Captain
that is
Keys.
Absolutely right. No Captain Keys slander is probably what he's saying and yelling at the screen right now.
It's the ultimate compliment. That man is like, I'm just like,
compliment.
I'm like,
Listen,
that's Asante. That's right there. I know that man.
He did a video a couple of weeks ago where he was on a computer, with unfiltered sound, and everyone knew that he was on the set filming season 2. I absolutely have to say, I agree. Kay Asante just super chat says, afternoon, folks. Loving the combo. Gents, boom, the ramifications of that Fortnite thing is huge. No Game Pass required to access the cloud. This
is that's why I'm very, like, when I saw that, I'm like, like, I mean, listen, like, it's so clever for both of them, because like, this is a great test for Microsoft's cloud infrastructure, web-based, and like, there is nothing theoretically Apple or Google can do about it, because it's off a web browser.
Yes.
Oops, sorry, I shook everything. Yeah. So it's like they found the ultimate loophole that I can't wait to see how Apple and Google respond.
It's going to be something that we could be talking about. I'm sure everyone's going to be talking about this at some point or another, because this is a power move, is what this is. Joe.
This is a power move that will absolutely piss off Apple and Google.
No, too bad. What can I tell you? $1 trillion companies.
Exactly. I don't care. Listen, take all the money away from Tim Cook.
Oh my God! Sir X-Man drops a $2 super chat and says he wants Forza Microsoft to have every racetrack in the world. I mean, Motorsport. I'm sorry. He said he wants Forza Motorsport to have every track in the world. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. Alex Cullian drops a very generous $2 super chat, and I'm not saying the first 2 words because it's gonna make my thing go off. He says, "How do I send the super chat?" And he wants me to say, "You know who's always listening." Alex, thank you for this generosity, brother, but I can't do that live on the air because it's going to talk and it's going to mess everything up. John TJ drops $5 super chat and says Bonnie Ross needs to be let go. Joseph Staten is here and is way better at 343. Needs to do the story, certain affinity to do multiplayer. Look, I met Bonnie Ross in real life, folks. She is an intelligent, well-spoken, dedicated member of Microsoft. I understand that a lot of people, maybe you haven't been happy with Halo the way it's gone, and I would agree with you. I will never sanction seeing someone lose their job. Listen, it's games. I get it, but this is life. Yeah. I would never even suggest that. I think that Joseph Staten was brought in because of his expertise on how he tells a Halo story. It's proven fact that he is fan-freaking-tastic. Will he become the head of the studio and take over for Bonnie Ross at some point? Well, I don't know. I don't work for Microsoft, but I think that what we have to do is we have to take a step back and look at how difficult this has been. Remember, they changed engines. A lot of people don't know that. This was Unreal. Then they did the Slip Space engine, and that apparently caused big problems. And listen, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that I'm never going to sanction seeing someone lose their job. That's just me. So
it's like, here's the thing. It's easy for us to be the, the armchair quarterback or whatever, Monday morning quarterback, whatever. We don't know how any of these positions work. I can't tell you how Bonnie Ross's position works and how much actual creative control that she has. She's there to run the studio, right? And we can all agree that studio has been in rough shape and it does need some type of executive
management has been at the center of the conversation.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I will agree with Drawn TJ for a second. I just want to say that if you are the head of something, whether that be the studio, whether that be a head of a mechanic shop, the head of the grocery store, you are ultimately responsible to make sure that things in the bigger picture are running tip-top shape. And when they're not, I'm sorry to say, you must be held accountable for that. Yeah. So because really what it comes down to is people want to put blame onto something. How much blame do we put onto Bonnie Ross? I don't know. I don't work for the studio. I couldn't tell you.
And that's again, how much actual responsibility lays on them. Could be all of it. Could be almost none of it. Don't know. I don't know. So.
All right. Well, Thanaros.
She stays. I would vote to stay.
Yeah, she's going to stay there for a while. Yeah. He says, Badbit, thoughts on the Halo series?
Oh, cool. Just burn it all to the ground. Please and thank you.
Well, there you go. I like it. Mrs. Boom, not so much.
No, I kid. I hated the first episode. People told me just to skip the second. I forgot about the third episode. I forgot about the fourth episode. Then Luke Lore, frenemy of the show, of whom I hate. I love that. He goes, Joe, just watch the end of episode 5. And I did.
It was good.
And I remembered why I love Halo. And I'm and I immediately thought this could be, I can't wait for season 2 when they correct all the mistakes they made in season 1, because I think they'll have a great show. But until then, I'll wait.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, so far so good. I'm quite enjoying it. Hitman drops a $10 super chat and says maybe just buy the Embracer Group and use 10 of their 200 support studios on Halo. That again, anytime someone says that Microsoft is going to eventually buy Embracer Group, Kay Asante gets another wing or another feather for his wings, because he's been banging that drum for months.
Dude, I don't like it. The Embracer thing is nuts. How are they getting all this money?
Dude, I don't know.
It's crazy.
It is. Wandering Dutch, good friend of the program. Hey, Dutch, what's up, brother? He drops a £5 super chat and says, the Boom Bit Show. Afternoon, gents. Great show. Much love to you both. Much love to you as well, my brother. Thank you so much. And folks, let's get into it. Let's get into the skinny of today's show. And that is, what we're expecting for 2023. Now, again, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, Boom, Killer Instinct ain't coming out. This one's not coming out. This one's not.
So?
The thumbnail wasn't meant to say that every one of those games were coming out in 2023. Yeah. The problem that we have right now, it's not really a problem. It's more like, well, how do we put a thumb on this, or how do we put a finger on this? Is we don't know what's coming out. Is Avowed? Sure. Probably should be coming out. Is Fable? Well, it's been in development since 2018, so it's on course, even with COVID, in the conversation. What else is coming out in 2023? Is Hellblade coming out? Is Project Mara going to release before Hellblade? I honestly don't know. Is that super secret project from Obsidian Games, is that coming out? Because it's a smaller team project. I honestly couldn't tell you, but what I am going to say, what I can officially say right now is,
tell me.
As a fan who bought his first Xbox in 2001, we have been waiting for. Look, I'm going to just rewind this for a second. Joe and I were talking in the green room, and hey, big shout out to BitCloud Gaming.
What up?
Big time right there. That's up, BitCloud. How's everything, brother? I'm going to say this. Let's bring Sony into the conversation, because we always have to. And I have a Sony guy here that represents the brand in the best way possible, folks. I gotta pimp his stuff. Listen, if you want a Sony podcast that talks about PlayStation with the most respect of other platforms, you need to tune in to Mr. Badbit and Kyle's show. The show that he does, the Trophy Room.
The Trophy Room. I got you.
Is just a phenomenal show that is passionate about the brand, but doesn't disrespect everyone to make a buck, to try and get that click. And that is what's incredibly important. Sony did something in the 3-year block of 2018, 2019, and 2020 that we could potentially see happen right in front of us. Okay, those 3 years for Sony, well, folks, it is the reason why they sold 115 plus million consoles. It's because they put out such a strong first party lineup. It was bonkers how many, and not just Sony first party. It's all of the deals that they did to get those exclusive games in there that were timed exclusives, or still to this day, still actually are exclusives. And they did it to great succession. Right now, right, we have to look, and I see the big super chat came in. I'm going to get to that momentarily. Joe, last year for Microsoft was a banner year, right? They won Publisher of the Year from Metacritic, which is a big deal. It is a tremendous deal. They put out a great, a little light in the beginning, very similar to what we're seeing now, but a very heavy-ended 2021. Now, 2022, we have potentially 4 games on tap.
Sure.
Deathloop is coming in September. That's confirmed. That was on the PlayStation 5. You loved it. I loved it. I can't wait to play it on the Xbox because that's my preferred console. We also have Motorsport releasing this year. That I'm sure we're going to get a release date at their event. Redfall has been rumored to maybe be pushed to the end. Excuse me, the end of the year. And of course, the big granddaddy of them all, Starfield. Those are 4 solid games. But Wolfenstein might be in the card still. Joe, looking at what they've done last year, what they're doing this year, and what they're potentially doing next year, how big of a deal is that?
I think you're going to finally see Xbox. And I think it's like something that a lot of, like when I hear from Xbox folks that we tease a little bit, right? Is I think this year's the year.
Right. Again, the whole wait till next E3 is the joke.
Exactly. The wait till next E3 thing. I think wait till Starfield. First and foremost, we all have to understand we're still living in a global panorama. Yep. So that is still, we're talking about supply chain issues still till 2024, not looking better.
Yep.
That's why we really got to stop relying on just one area to pump out all the stuff. Nonetheless, I digress. I think like Redfall is probably a next year game. I definitely think all chips are on Starfield. And I think that's going to really kick off the, dare I say, virtuous cycle that we're going to see from Xbox in the next year or two, which is I'm thinking you're going to see a game a quarter from them starting in 2023. I think you're going to see, a big title like Starfield, and then you'll wait a bit until, we get, what is it? Or not even, maybe even a little earlier. Like we'll get Deathloop, then we'll get Starfield, then we'll get Ghostwire, then we'll get Redfall, then we'll see Obsidian's thing. And that's when we start seeing the plan laid out by Microsoft actually come into fruition, where we're seeing Bethesda and Xbox work in tandem with each other. Because if you're assuming like Bethesda comes out with about 2 to 3 games every year, and you're also assuming that Xbox will put out 2 to 3 games that year that are exclusive, you're talking about 6 major AAA games coming out in a year, which puts it at around 1 or 2-ish each quarter. And you're in a nice rhythm if you're Microsoft. And I think just by having those two publishers pair together, you're going to start seeing that cycle start hitting for Microsoft in a big way.
I absolutely agree. And it's exciting times. I think it's exciting times from a multiple sides of coins here. Before we move forward on this topic, Drawn TJ drops, wow, dude, like a ridiculously generous $50 super chat. He says something very interesting. He says, look, maybe I'm a little harsh on her, but you don't run a flagship title with bare bones, saying it's the best we can do in 6 years with a $500 million a budget and 500 plus employees. Come to the people. Come on, people, wake up. She needs someone to babysit her because she has mishandled it. Look, one of the things, and again, folks, I'm not trying to be politically correct, because I said this on yesterday's show. Double Barrel Gaming is extremely privileged to know that there are some people from Microsoft that listen to the show. I don't even understand why, because we're such a small channel. I don't become politically correct because maybe Phil is listening. I give it to Microsoft all the time, and I have been critical of 343 because of the mishandling that there has been. Listen, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to walk back it. There has been management issues, but I'm also never going to go out and say, "Hey, fire X, Y, Z," because I can't. I'm not sitting in the commander's chair.
It's like when so. Again, and that's why I'm like, we don't really know this situation, because like when it came to Star Wars, everybody blamed Kathleen Kennedy, but the thing that happened after that, and it's in Bob Iger's like memoir, is Bob Iger is just like, she got so much shit for what was my mistake. Just because she is the head of this company, but I was too trigger happy with the IP, and I didn't lay out a correct plan for her to succeed. So again, it's easy to go, that person we assume is in charge because they have a CEO and whatever. They have a certain title in front of their name. But what we don't really see is the background stuff. Like, in truth be told, I think the Microsoft's biggest issue will always be their biggest issue, and one that we see them trying to address is the management between and synergy between studios and management that we often complain about is an issue. Yeah. So it's not just at 343. This is a thing as Microsoft gets its ducks in a row of how it's going to manage all these studios. It's a giant undertaking that is more than just 1 or 2 people. So it's something that we have to put into consideration here. Is this is a if there's a thing that I could say is a bit of a negative with Microsoft, it's their management ain't always hitting it out of the park.
And that's something? I think
that's where they could really improve.
I think they're well aware of that.
They're absolutely aware of that. I mean, you just see how their communication has been on point, even when it's not necessarily the best look for them and they can afford to lose a couple of social media points. They will. So, like, I think you see a genuine attempt from Microsoft to go, listen, we understand that we don't have the synergy that PlayStation has with their studios relative to or how we perceive. Yeah. we want to get there, and you see that they're trying to get there. So I again, have faith. Bonnie, who knows? This could be all her fault. It could be literally none of her fault. She's like a fall guy that we constantly throw on. Because like real talk, if this is Bonnie Ross's mistake, remember who her boss is. It's Matt Booty.
Right.
And like, and we could play the blame game. It goes all the way up to the, you know, with the yarn. Yeah. But like, so obviously there is still management issues that need to be addressed. And I think we as consumers need to address that. Hey, y'all haven't hit on this. You've hit on certain things, which is great. But this one thing in particular, we gotta
tighten it up a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. And we're gonna see it again. There's some studios that do not need any supervision that do it right every time. It's unbelievable. Just continue to just do it right. Ninja Theory is one of them. Ninja Theory doesn't need anyone to step up for them. Obsidian is another one. In Exile, that's another one. I would even dare say, and I have no problem going on a limb saying, the Coalition. They're doing their thing. They have great management. You don't have to hold them by the hand. I don't know what happened here, but needless to say, I am satisfied with what they delivered. I just want to see what they do after. That's for me. But let's reel this back in as Joe.
Okay,
we close in on 400 people here. Thank you so much for finding the channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing. It would be greatly appreciated. Joe, we are under 1,400 from 12K, which is awesome. That's right. We hit 10K this year in January. And I'm looking forward to, I would love to close out the year at 12. That would be a monster accomplishment. And hopefully if you are new and you're enjoying the banter, consider subscribing. And of course, before you get on out of here, hit the like button. But Sir X-Men drops a very generous $2 super chat, an additional $2 super chat, and says, Microsoft announces Titanfall 3 exclusive on Xbox. If that happens, folks, live on the air, I'm going back in the seat. I'm breaking the Captain America seat because I'm going to pull right out of it. That is my dream. Titanfall is my favorite new franchise in the past decade. Hands down.
Absolutely.
Hands down, my favorite franchise. As a matter of fact, right behind me hanging here is a Titanfall hoodie that I won from Respawn for telling them how I jumped into an enemy-controlled encampment, killed the 3 guys, dropped my Titan, and got it back. And they liked that story so much that they sent me this hoodie, which is dope. That's freaking awesome. I love that. I want to continue the talk with 2023 because, Joe, look, one of the most important things for Microsoft is to finally show its players all of what the studios have been doing since 2018. Like, we are rolling into prime time right now. I mean, in 2018, right, we had the announcement of the initiative. Now, granted, that had some struggles. It still does. I think they're going to be okay. I think the initiative is going to eventually be what we expected, what they announced them to be. They're going to build a particular game, and Studio B is going to come in and finish that game off, and they're going to move on to something else. I think that what happened with the initiative, too many chefs, Joe, too many chefs, too many big position people, and getting that talent is great. But when they all sit around, if the guy that was just running Studio A is sitting down with the guys that ran Studios B, C, and D, who's in charge? I don't know. But if you're one of those studio heads, now you're working as a team, you're going to listen to Studio D and say, but he's telling me to do something. I don't want to do that. I ran my own studio. I don't have to listen to him. And I think that might have been potentially what happened. Again, it's just speculation. But we saw in that E3 in 2018, Ninja Theory was announced as an acquisition. Obsidian, it was announced as an acquisition. Not Turn 10. Playground Games was announced. All 3 of those studios, folks, including Compulsion Games. Let me not forget the Dark Horse. That's another one that was in that conversation. And all of their games are on the cusp of coming out. Now, do I think we're getting Avowed, Fable, and something else in 1 year. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I wouldn't want that. Fable, maybe I'm not holiday. First quarter 24, maybe.
Yeah.
I potentially, again, this is just my idea. But Joe, people are waiting for Fable. People are waiting for Avowed, and people really, you know why people want Avowed? Because people are waiting for Elder Scrolls to come out. We know that's not coming out for a while. And Obsidian, man, they just know how to tell great RPG stories.
Yeah.
And I think Avowed is something that comes next year. I don't know what I think Compulsions is next year. I think Compulsions is first quarter next year, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting for you seeing, coming from the Sony's point of view, where they put these 3 monster years together that really just compounded the conversation of why Sony was the market leader and continues, right? Again, they're still the market leader, but why that block of years, 18, 19, and 20, really told a story of running a tight ship, where everything just running like a well-oiled machine, one monster AAA first-party game after another, and they were all hits on meta, they were hits on sales, they just were hitting on all cylinders. Microsoft is setting themselves up for that. It started last year. It's going to continue this year because I still think there are 1 or 2 games that we don't know that are coming out this year that are closer, that they're saving as a surprise, which I think I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to that. But 23 looks to be one of those years, and you said it, 1 or 2 games per quarter. If they can hit that cadence, Joe, that's between 4 and 8 first party games in 1 year. That's monstrous. How big would that be for Microsoft? But more importantly, how big it would be for selling Xbox Game Pass and that potentially $250 Series S.
Yeah, dude, I think that thing's the juggernaut, man. I know I see, the Twitter clowns like going, it's all over Best Buy. Well, if it's available and people are picking it up,
Joe, can I just jump in for a second and say the thing the running theme with the knuckleheads, with the boobs, as I like to call them, is it shouldn't be counted with console sales, right?
That's dumb. It's dumb because they want it not to count because they're losing the argument, right?
Which is the dum-dums, right?
Yeah.
And second of all, and I'm going to say this, I don't know personally about you or anybody in the chat. I don't have $300, and I wouldn't just, I'm walking past something like a robot, impulse buy $300. An impulse buy is $100. An impulse buy is not $300. So when they say that, people are just buying it because it's sitting there. That's dumb. Mm-hmm. Don't be those people. People are buying it because maybe they're getting into Xbox the first time because they keep hearing about Xbox Game Pass. Maybe a lot of people are now digital on pretty much everything, and that's a digital box.
God bless.
It's $300.
God bless.
And here's the thing, Joe. I saw an ad that it was on sale for $227.
Yeah, so for me, the impulse buy is an incredible argument because a versatile one because you can use it.
It does scale.
It does happen. I remember Luke told me a story because again he's been dumb since the moment he was born. He can't help that he's stupid.
You nearly choked me live on the air. Damn you, Joe.
By
the way, I love Luke Lore. I just want to put it out there.
He doesn't mean it, Luke. Anyway, so his mother, my girlfriend, she bought him a PlayStation. What a great thing that was. She bought him a PlayStation at Toys R Us because there was no N64s, right? So those cases, they exist. But it's not like everybody who walked in to get a PS5 and sees a Series S goes, well, if I can't have it, this will do. That's not everybody. Right. There is an argument to be made that I think Mac Piscatella said it from the start. He's like, whoever can make more consoles will sell more consoles. Both audiences are hungry for these consoles. They're not going the demand's not dying for them, one way or the other. So to me, when I see the Series S, it's an awesome machine because it is for those who are maybe they come in for the PS5. They go, All right, well, listen, it's not coming anytime soon. I hear great things about Game Pass, and let me try it out. Or I am the PlayStation gamer, and I go, you know what, it's $300. I hear so many things about a Game Pass. Let me try it out. Or I'm just going to play it for Halo.
Yep.
Right? And that's what my box is going to be. In truth, I should have bought a Series S instead of an X. In total truth, the way I use it. So, like, to me, I think it's a great secondhand console, or a second console, whether it is your second console from your PlayStation, Xbox, or Switch, or even handing it off to your kid.
Yeah, I just bought my nephew Tyler his first Xbox, and he loves it.
And it's a Series S.
Riders Republic, and he's playing everything else that's in there. It's
exactly
having a blast. Yeah,
exactly. So it's a versatile little box to be sold at a really great price. So like it doesn't matter if it's not as powerful as the PS5, so you can't count it. It's like, no, it's still an Xbox. You can count it. Nonetheless, though, to blanket off what you're saying from earlier. Yeah, I do think this is the next, and I want to just state this for the record. The next 3 years are probably going to be the most interesting years that we've seen in the console race for a while.
Yeah.
You're seeing Xbox and PlayStation both come out going, hey, we need acquisition managers. Right? We need people that focus in on this stuff, because this isn't going away. Like this is going to remain a thing for a very long time, because now content is king. And you're starting to see that from PlayStation. That's why you're starting to see them pivot and make all these, games as service type of moves. And you've been seeing it from Microsoft a little bit early with all their acquisitions as well. You're seeing both competitors being the most competitive they have ever been since, I would say, like the PS1 era of just, they're not going after each other's throat. Like Xbox doesn't want to run PlayStation out of business. PlayStation doesn't want to run Xbox out of business.
Yeah.
No one really cares who's first so much as they're making a lot of money. Like everybody wants to be the market leader. That's great. But like, they're not thinking of it as they're not thinking of it as like a team like we do. They're thinking of it as, purely business, but like they want to maximize their profits the most that they absolutely can. So when we start seeing 2023, 2024, 2025, you're thinking about the brands that Xbox have put in already now starting to hopefully lead bear, or whatever the phrase is, where you're starting to see Bethesda and Xbox work in tandem. Hopefully, starting in next year, you're going to see that again. They're holding hands, skipping in paradise with each other. Once the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, which I don't have a doubt it will, Jason. I love Hogue, man. Hogue's been on a tear because this guy.
Listen, I love
him, man.
Hogue. That guy is
awful Star Wars takes, but everything else is stellar.
Yeah, listen. Listen. Look, the deal's going through.
It's going through.
Is it going to have some opposition? Is there going to be people out there throwing a tantrum and wanting to see it? Yes, but ultimately it's going to go through.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And once Activision, I think that's like, to me, I really want to see what Xbox does there. Not in terms of like, well, this is going to be an exclusive or not. How they rehabilitate. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't give a care. But like, to me, it's how do they rehabilitate them and get them running.
First and foremost, and I know this we could talk another 3 hours on this. The human element must come first.
Yeah.
They must prove to the people, the employees, the men and women that are there, that the shenanigans that went on is gone. The devil is no longer a part of it, and Bobby Kotick, because that's what he is. And all of the people that were responsible for looking the other way as these atrocities happen are going to be gone and out of the industry and not a part of this company. So people are going to be able to breathe a sigh of relief in how they go to work each and every day. Once that's done, the rehabilitation on studios is going to be incredibly important. Toys for Bob is going to make platformers like they should. Ravensoft are going to make incredible new stories that they've done in the past. And the list just goes on and on of who they've acquired that could go back to making games that are just not Call of Duty, which I think is incredibly important. Listen, folks, we are almost an hour and a half. I know Joe's on limited time, folks. This has been a magnificent episode of X. We had, again, almost 400 people here. Let me just catch up on the last super chats and we'll do some outros. Drawn TJ drops an additional $2 super chat, and he says, "I just want Halo back. That's all." Listen, brother, your point is well
you're
taken,
fine,
and you are 100%. You are correct in saying so. You are a customer. You are a fan. You want the brand to be the best it can be, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And listen, to suggest that there isn't management issues going on would be someone that's turning a blind eye to a situation. There are management issues. They need to address them. They currently are addressing them. How long that takes to come to fruition, I don't know, but I'm sure that they're well aware of what needs to be done. And that's why we're seeing the changes at leadership there with Joseph Staten coming back. And I believe that he's going to take a bigger role in what moves the needle forward with Halo Infinite, which is a 10-year plan. But that is the last super chat of the day. I want to thank the 400 people that have come out to support not only Double Barrel Gaming, but of course this new show. And tomorrow, I had announced that I was going to see Multiverse of Madness with my brother. Well, after the rise of COVID here in both New Jersey and in New York, we have made the conscious decision that going to see a Marvel film is not worth the risk. So we have returned our tickets. Now, I'm not having breakfast at Boom tomorrow because we had that yesterday. What I am going to do is I'm going to be playing Halo from about 9 a.m. to 12. I'm going to leave the party open. If you want to join me and play Halo Infinite multiplayer, it's going to be one of the few times that I do play with the community because, like I said, I only have so much time. From 9 to 12 tomorrow, it's Mr. BoomStick XL on Xbox Live. It's Mr. Space BoomStick Space XL. The party is going to be open. Jump in. Let's talk. Let's have a good time. So for 3 hours tomorrow, instead of going to see a film, I'm going to get down with the community and play some Halo Infinite Season 2 Lone Wolves.
Can I tell you something?
Doing that tomorrow. Yes, sir.
I'm risking it for the biscuit. I'm double vaxxed.
Nice.
I got I'm gonna have my mask on.
Yeah, I had.
And I'm just gonna hold my breath for 3 hours.
Yeah,
that's kind of like my deal. I'm just gonna hold my breath for 3 hours. I'm going during the day too.
We had 10:30 in the morning tickets, so it's likely that we wouldn't have had a full theater. But
you don't want to risk it for the biscuit.
You know what the problem is? The problem is that people are dumb. That's the reality. And people are just, they're not paying attention. I guarantee you there can be people in there with no masks, and to sit in an enclosed space for 2+ hours.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I say this all the time. I say it jokingly, but I mean it. Somehow or another, I did 21 years as a police officer, and there are two things that never happened. One, I never shot anybody, which is awesome. And two, I didn't die, which is even better. So I was able to retire, which I did, I'm here for everyone to enjoy each and every week. And I don't want to risk dying for a virus to see a Marvel film that I can watch on demand or on premium 70 days from now. So it's fine.
It's fair.
Yeah, it's fine. But listen, Joe, I want you to sell your brand, brother. I want you to tell everyone about the Trophy Room. I want you to tell them where they can check it out on these RSS feeds. And more importantly, if somebody wants to strike up a conversation with you on social media, where could they do that?
Well, first and foremost, what a great little reunion this was, Boom.
This was awesome.
I missed this.
Awesome.
I really do. You could find me over at Mr. Badbit on Twitter. You could find the show at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. And you can find the show itself. First off, we've been growing quite a bit on YouTube, which I appreciate.
Yeah, aren't you over 7,000?
We're getting there. We're getting there.
You're close.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start making YouTube content. Who knows? But you can find the video version of the Trophy Room on YouTube at the Trophy Room Show. But primarily, we are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We are on Google Play. So if you like a nice little PlayStation here and there news, check out the trophy room. Boom's right. We don't do any of the fanboy nonsense. In fact, we have to like knock some fanboys. We gotta wake them up from time to time. You know what I mean? We got to bring the stick under their nose and like, oh man, I'm up, I'm awake. We don't do any of the console bashing. We love having different opinions on our show. Just makes the show more interesting. So if you like a good PlayStation show that's going to respect your brand, of course we're going to have differing opinions on some things, but as long as you can deal with that, this place is for you, and that is the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. This week, we talked about Square selling some of its studios to Embracer, what that may mean for the future of Square Enix. We're going to be talking about why on earth would WB Games be interested in selling their own studios? And of course, we're going to tackle the nonsense that was PlayStation blocking stacking of PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, which was dumb. It's just like, just say it. Just say, hey guys, listen, gang, we're going to do this for the time being because some of y'all found a loophole. And so and I'd be fine. Just tell it to me. But don't be sneaky. Yeah. Don't just pull the rug.
When you get caught out there, it makes it look worse.
Exactly. Because now you're like, oh, there was a loophole. I could have got this for cheaper. Son of a gun. Anyway, but you can find all that and more over at the Trophy Room. This week's episode was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, can't wait to check that out. Drawn TJ drops an additional $2 super chat. Says, I'll play with you, Boom. Absolutely, brother. 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll be on Xbox Live again. Find me, Mr. BoomStick XL, on Xbox Live. And of course, I want to say a big thank you for all the super chats that continue to come in, the channel memberships that continue to come in. If you missed this live and you wanted to, because I have people reach out to us all the time, say, Boom, I'm sorry I can't catch you live because I'm either sleeping or it's a different time zone and I really want to support the channel. YouTube has added something called Super Thanks, and what you can do now, if you activate it, is give a super chat for a video, which is it's the most forward-thinking, progressive thing I've seen them do since I joined it. And I understand it's not for me; it's for their 30%. But at the same time, it still helps smaller content creators power their channels. You know, because everything costs something these days, whether it be programs or whatever, new PCs, headphones, mics, all that costs something. So if you ever wanted to support the channel after the live content, there is now a way for you, in fact, to do that through Super Thanks. And it's a little button with a heart on it and a plus. So a big thank you for all of that. Joe, drop your link, Suicide King is asking.
Oh, drop my links? My links?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's so much pressure. That's so much. Here's the deal. Okay, here's what I'll do. One sec. Let me get to Mr. Badbit. I'll drop you the link to my Twitter, and from there, you'll see all the things you've ever needed to see and more. So let me just get onto that right quick. I have to open up Windows. It's just so much suspense.
I dropped your YouTube into the chat.
Oh, there you go. That's all you need. Go over there, check it out.
There is the Trophy Room on YouTube. Go to @Mr. Badbit on Twitter. All his links, though, are in the show notes. So once this goes up on demand, you just got to click it. One click, you're in. And Drawn TJ actually drops an additional $2 super chat and says, "I'll subscribe, Mr. Badbit." There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, that is your show. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, we get a chance to hang out and play Halo Infinite Season 2 Lone Wolves tomorrow for a nice 3-hour block between 9 a.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Eastern. And I'll close out the show with something, folks, that's important to me. I hope one day it's important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he said, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.